So I learned this trick back when I was working in a really rough part of Sacramento. Apparently, I think they also call it HUD spec for how to board up windows, but you essentially need carriage bolts like this. It's rounded on the one end, and then you have a nut, and then I also have been using a washer, and you're going to be using these to sandwich the 2x4s and the plywood together. And when you get that, then yeah, you should be able to do it, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So really what you want to do is you want to measure your outer window size and just cut, whatever sheet of plywood that you need for each window. You're also going to want to get a couple of 2x4s to span the length of the inside, so you can essentially sandwich the window. And you may have to open your window to do it, but once you pull it snug, which you'll see later, it's going to be pretty much weatherproof, or would make it difficult for somebody to break in. Just another tip or trick: a lot of times plywood that you buy from the hardware store is bowed. So the way I do it is when it's bowed out like this, I usually have it, well, when it is bowed out, I have it bowed out on the outside of the building, so when the bolts tighten, it'll flatten against the window frame. So if you guys look over here, another tip or trick is I mark all of my boards. So this is going to be the, for the dining room window, it's a lower 2x4, and I always put in orientation for up or down. This is the dining room upper, and I also mark the size of these bolts, size of the nuts that go onto here. I've been starting to remove them already, but these are 14 mils, or 14 mil works. At least you don't have to go searching for whatever you need to search for. I also do, for the plywood, I do mark, which side is inside, which side is outside, and the orientation of up or down. And it'll make it a lot easier in case if, a storm is approaching, or if you're trying to board up for a zombie apocalypse, or whatever it is, you'll know your orientations, and you'll be able to move quickly. These sheets of plywood, depending on how big your window is, can get pretty heavy. So I was able to get this stuff up on my own, but it really helps if you have a lip to where you can rest the plywood on. And if you take a look over here, I am going to paint this. I'm going to seal it up. I added an extra lip here since on this window there was no support, and it's pretty much just a drop, I don't know, however 10 feet down. But yeah, it's like if you want to add a lip, then you can also slide the plywood on. Makes it a lot easier from one person before you start bolting it up. With the way this is boarded up, it's going to be pretty difficult for anybody to really even get in here. And there's just no way you can even get a, I mean, if you took a chainsaw to it, yeah, but I mean, once you pull this stuff snug, there's no way this thing's coming off. So this is the sliding patio door. A regular 4x8 sheet wasn't going to be enough to cover it, so just break it down to 2 sheets.